All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. Multiplying and dividing rational expressions level 3. We're bringing back division. They're going to be mixed in. Just keep in mind that with the division, keep change flip, okay? Keep the first fraction, change the second, and flip the second fraction. We're changing this side. Let's see what this looks like. So this is an example of what a problem might look like. So we have three fractions here. We have as many fractions as we need to, but we have three here for these. And the first one's multiply, the second one is divide. So let's see how we would approach that. So 4x squared minus 324. And that is over x squared plus 4x minus 45. We had a 4 on top. Negative x squared minus 5x. And then we have division. And we had 9 minus x. And we had 25 minus x squared. Okay, so a lot of cool, fun things here, believe it or not. So what I recommend our first step being is we're going to rewrite the first fraction. Nothing to do there. And just want to note, when you have division, you're only changing the fraction after the division. So if the first operation had been division, we would only change the 4 and then the negative x squared minus 5x. We wouldn't change both after. Okay, so you're just really changing to the right of the division symbol. So we're going to keep this 4 over negative x squared minus 5x, and then we're going to change to multiplication again, because remember, this only works for multiplication. And we'll go with 25 minus x squared over 9 minus x. Okay, so now it's time to factor, and we're going to factor everything we can. All right, so on top, I'm going to again go to the side of my paper because I think that's the best way to do this. I'm going to take out my GCF of 4. And what I'm really checking for here is I'm checking to see if I can factor it further. So when I divide 324 by 4 and I get 81, 81 happens to be a perfect square, meaning I can go to x minus 9, x plus 9. So I can factor that further. Don't forget your original term. Okay, you need that original term. Now, x squared plus 4x minus 45, that's just factoring using the AM method. Two numbers that multiply to negative 45 add to 4. That's going to be x plus 9, x minus 5. And again, I know I've said this in the past videos, but I want to remind you again, if factoring is the part that's getting you, throwing you off, factoring is a skill that repetition and practice and exposing yourself to as many different situations as possible, that's where you get your help. Delta Math is great for this. Even if you complete an assignment and do 5 problems, it'll let you do 5 more. If you feel that you need to continue to practice, you have to continue to kind of push and go further. So on top, we're going to get a 4. Now for the bottom center, we have negative x squared minus 5x. We said this during the year, but I'm not sure how many of you caught it. Anytime we can pull out a GCF, okay, we need to pull out the negative of that GCF if we can. So the leading term here is negative. I'm pulling out a negative x, and that's going to leave me with an x plus 5 as something that's left over. Okay. Now, 25 minus x squared, all the way on the top right, it is difference of two squares. Nothing says the number has to come second and the variable has to come first. What that's going to leave us with is 5 plus x and 5 minus x. Okay, that's going to leave us with 5 plus x and 5 minus x. It's the opposite order. Don't go changing the order. The order might not matter on the x plus 5, but the order is definitely going to matter on the x minus 5, 5 minus x. Those are different. All right, so then we get 9 minus x on the bottom. And I'm going to put that in parentheses because we know we're going to be trying to at least cross that out. Okay, so let's see what crosses out here. I've got an x plus 9. I've got an x plus 9. And that's that's about it, right? So I'm starting to see some things, right? So I'm going to show you on the side of the paper. We have an x minus 9 on top and a 9 minus x. Now, that's different, right? So we would normally immediately cross out x minus 9 and x minus 9. Those would cross out no problem. But x minus 9 and 9 minus x, those are going to be different. They actually do cross out, but you have to put a -1 on the top. Okay, they cross out to -1. Similarly, the 5 minus x on the top and the x minus 5 on the bottom, they're just flip-flops of each other. Those are going to cross out also to -1. Now, I want to show you this. 5 plus x and x plus 5, those are just going to regularly cross out without the -1. Addition is commutative. Subtraction is not commutative. So that's what's happening there. Now I have a -1, a -1, and 2 4s. So I'm going to multiply all those numbers together on the top, and I'm going to end up with positive 16. And on the bottom, I have a -x. So 16 divided by -x. And we'll submit our answer, and that's our answer. So a lot of, crossing out to -1. So these can be cancel out, but divide to -1. So that's something that, maybe you've seen before, maybe you haven't seen before, but I hope that you pick up on, because it's an important skill to look at, right? It's a little bit different than what you're maybe used to. All right, so we're going to go through another one. And when we go through this other one, I really want you to work on if it's a bigger factoring, if it's not just a straightforward dots, if it's not just a straightforward GCF, if it looks like there might be more to it. I want you to go ahead and basically factor on the side of your paper. I want you to take that time to really make sure that you're getting your factoring down, especially when that factoring is a multi-dimensional factoring problem. Okay, let's try this one out. Don't be afraid of the big numbers either. So 6x to the third, okay, plus 12x squared, minus 210x. Okay, that's over x squared minus 49 times 6x. 2x to the third minus 50x. Okay, divided by, so remember for the division, keep change flip, x plus 7 and x squared minus 49. Okay, so keep the first fraction as is, so 6x to the third plus 12x squared minus 210x, x squared minus 49, 6x, 2x to the third minus 50x times x squared minus 49, and x plus 7. Okay, before we start, I want to just point out, I get that there's an x squared minus 49 in the bottom left, and I get that there's an x squared minus 49 in the bottom right. For those of you asking, can I just cross those out? Absolutely you can. I'm not going to. I'm going to assume that you did not see that, okay? But you absolutely can. Okay, so when we go to factor here, and we go to pull a GCF out, the immediate question is 6 a GCF? And it is, but there's more to it than that. Every term has an x, so on the side of my paper, I'm going to pull a 6x out. And that's going to leave me with x squared plus 2x minus 35. And now the next question I'm going to ask is, can I factor x squared plus 2x minus 35? And I can. 6x is going to be multiplied by x plus 7 and x minus 5. For those of you asking where I'm getting that from, go back to the videos on the AM method if you need them. So up top we get 6x, x plus 7, and x minus 5. On the bottom we just have difference of two perfect squares, so we're going to get x minus 7 and x plus 7. On the top we can't do anything, that's 6x. On the bottom I'm going to bring it over to my side again, 2x to the third minus 50x. I'm going to start by taking a GCF of 2x out. That leaves me with x squared minus 25. Now the x squared minus 25 becomes x minus 5, x plus 5. Now, for those of you, again, saying, like, how'd you know to do that? Bring it over to the side of your paper. Part of it is experience and starting to see, like, oh, if I pull that 2 out, the 50 becomes a 25. 25 is a perfect square. But part of it is also anticipating that some of the GCF factorings are just generally going to become multi-level factorings. That's just kind of how these problems work out. On top, we're going to get x minus 7, x plus 7. And on the bottom, we just have an x plus 7. And again, put in parentheses. Make your life a little bit easier. Okay, so what crosses out? Remember, if it's flipped, i.e. x minus 7, 7 minus x, we would have to cross it out to a negative 1. Okay, just remember. Okay, maybe that happens, maybe it doesn't. Not always going to happen. All right, so x plus 7, x plus 7, x minus 5, x minus 5, x minus 7, x minus 7, x plus 7, x plus 7, 2, and one of these 6's, it'll become a 3. And then x and x. So we've got nothing left on the bottom. No, I'm sorry, we have an x plus 5 left on the bottom. And on the top, I have 6x and 3, which is going to multiply to 18x. Okay, let's go ahead and put that in. I've got 18x divided by x plus 5. And there we go. So again, this video is all about the process of what happens when you have 3 terms, but in the end, it's the same deal. Next week, we're going to have a rational expressions quiz. We'll give you a problem or two from each of the 4 or 5 lessons that we've now done on rational expressions. So we'll kind of have a combined. You'll have to do like 2 of each skill. And then once you do that, that's going to be our last assignment for this class. Any late work you have can be submitted up until 12 o'clock on, let's get the date for that for you. So the very, very last possible time to submit work would be 12 p.m. That's 12 noon on the 16th, but I'm asking that you have all of your work in by the 12th, so I have the time to put those grades in. Okay? Hope everyone's doing well. Hope everyone's staying safe during this time. And hopefully we'll see you next year in the fall. Other than that, I'm going to leave you with that.